Hi guys, this is Dimitri from nannuoshan, and today I have the pleasure of being joined by Gabriele. Gabriele, what do you do at nannuoshan?
Well, asking also myself, what do I do? I guess today we are going to drink some tea, Dimitri.
Okay, that's the
And
best.
actually, we have just done a video. We've just done another video.
Yes.
And we were pretty much into pu'er, and we wanted to try an older one.
Yes.
And so we thought, what about doing it in front of the camera? So
I think we have to on a roll.
this Changtai Hao 642
642
is one of the next cake that we want to describe and to bring out on the website. So we are trying. We have a lot of pu'er that have to come out in the next
stacks
weeks
and
months.
stacks and stacks, or
Yes.
tongs and
Tons and tons. And the first pu'er that came out are relatively young. And so we thought, let's now jump back in the past and take in something a bit older.
Okay.
And while we open these and have a look inside. So it is a Changtai Hao, as we said, 642. So 642 is a type of recipe, let's say.
Okay, I was wondering about, because it's kind of a mysterious number.
My assumption, yeah, it is a tea from 2006, which means it's already 15 years old, and you can tell it is a fairly dark color.
Yes, after this last video we did with comparing two Gushu Pu'er from the last 3 years or so, it was 2017 and 18. And this is distinctly darker.
Definitely, and look how much buds there are in here. There is a lot of copper, bright yellow colors that are all buds all around.
Yes.
So it's fairly bud heavy.
The white hairs always sort of stand out against those older leaves. The young buds have those, the pico that, or by how that changes.
Exactly, yeah. So it has also some powder in it because, I mean, over the years, that's how it happened. And the most tricky aspect of hold on, Dimitri, if you can. The most tricky aspect of sourcing a tea like this is to avoid fake, because the Changtai Group is fairly famous, in particular in those years.
Okay.
And being able to really find reliably a cake from the Changtai Group where you have a very high confidence level that is original is very hard. So how we did?
How did you?
How we did, I'll tell you soon. So of course you cannot just go back in time and buy directly from the company, because they of course sold out all the cakes of that time. So you need to buy from someone else. And what we have chosen, kind of, we have basically gone for a friend of us that has been in the tea business for about, I think, between 20 and 30 years. I don't know precisely. And at that time, back in 2006, and also in the years before, he sourced 4.5. This is a bit larger guy. I want to take a little bit more. And he sourced this tea directly from the Changtai Group company.
Okay.
So he got a larger stock and he bought directly from the company. We know this person well. It is a friend of Benjamin. They have been knowing each other for decades, actually. Yeah, about 20 years at this point. And I have been also going with him to search for tea in the past. And let's put it back. Yes. And so
there's this relationship you have.
Exactly.
And this kind of trust.
Yeah. And we know, well, you know, we know that he has got this tea for many years, and that's why it is a reliable source, because you are actually sourcing. We are actually sourcing the tea from someone that is not only a good friend, but also sourced the tea himself. Didn't buy from others.
The more links in the chain, the more kind of questionable it is. Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
I also noticed from the cake that it looked that there was a slight asymmetry to it. It looked like it was hand pressed. I don't know if that's reliable.
Yeah, honestly I cannot tell. It's I don't know. There is, it's difficult to say. I don't think that such a large company in those years would hand press the cakes.
No, yeah.
Because the company itself, well, let's start actually doing this tea. It's the company itself changed also name in 2004. It is the Changtai company. So it was called Changtai Tea Company or Tea House, something like that, until 2004.
Okay.
And then because of a series of cakes that they made before that year, that became so famous and so important that they with their type of company was elevated at the group level, and so that's why they became the Changtai Tea Group.
Okay, so they went up in the world. Maybe try showing.
Yeah, let's try.
Here. We could get autofocus.
You have to hide behind the camera, otherwise the camera focus on you.
Oh, not the face.
Oh well, you can bring it even closer actually, like that, and we can try.
Yeah, so they're quite dark, and you can really tell they're aged. I mean, I'm certainly no expert, so if there are ways of faking like the age of things, I probably would be fooled. But it looks there's a darkening of the leaves and oxidization.
It looks fairly old, yeah.
And from the dry leaves, there's already a little bit of, I don't know if that was something else, a slight whiff of something rather strange and pungent, like a strong smell. I don't know if you got that.
So Dimitri, I won't tell you. You will start describing it. I won't tell you how Joe described the tea.
Okay, yes.
And then because we know Joe selected all these, and then we will reveal Joe's opinion about the tea.
Okay. So really putting me on the
test
with next to more of an Pu'er expert here.
Not just so that you are not biased, and Pu'er can also be seen in different ways, right? So depending on your taste, you might notice other things.
So if you allow me, I'm just going to take some notes here.
Yeah, sure.
For also useful for this describing the tea on our
website. So yeah, we do the video now. So between now and we will publish the video, Dimitri will put the description.
Yeah,
and then we will go.
Maybe I'll have another taste the tea to get to finalize some impressions. But it's often the kind of first impression is a good way to go, I think, because that's often how a lot of people will encounter the tea and what gives it a kind of distinct
Makes
character.
Sense, yeah.
So let's one more time the full name of this tea.
So it's Changtai Hao 642.
Hao 642.
Which is from 2006.
It's really interesting. So already the first thing that came out was there was this distinct savory note for me. And compared to other,
that's something very peculiar. Wow, that's so strong.
Oh, I have it smells like something, and this is always the game. It's always the game, and you're like, I know that, and because it's always, I mean, we're always doing tea here. We're encountering tea leaves, and sometimes tea leaves smell like leaves, like other plants, maybe vegetables and so forth. And then sometimes you encounter a note that's so familiar, but there's no way to look at that and have the context. And so it's this game of like searching your memory.
So unique. It's like sometimes you have the feeling you smell the lid and it's very pleasant. And then you smell the guy when it's like too intense. And here it's not saturating your nose.
No.
It gives you all these intensity and complexity.
It's very complex in like a little bundle from far away. It
smells old. I mean, no joke.
Yeah.
It has.
Yes. Aged.
But not like a cellar or... It is very, very dry storage, by the way. This was stored in Zhengzhou, which is pretty much up in the north. So it's a very, very dry storage. Yeah.
But this very savory... Sometimes I would describe a tea as savory, but this initial note was really like some complex dish that's like an intense savory, something fermented. I mean, I'm almost inclined to go that route. Soy sauce. I want to say aged soy sauce.
Aged soy sauce.
Or like
write it down.
Yes, I will. But there's this type of is it aged soy sauce? There's this type of like more intense soy sauce. I think a Chinese style.
It has something. It reminds me also of mushrooms. Then the taste is surprisingly clean, I would say.
Yeah.
I was expecting more some strength and the ears coming out.
And intense.
It is strong, but it is clean so far. And
Yes.
we have 6.5 grams of leaves.
Oh, really?
In here, so fairly large amount for 150 milliliter
Yeah.
guy one.
I'm surprised. Even the color, I would have already expected it to be like dark, too dark for that, even that amount of time. But here it's indicating that it's the right level of brut. And you can see there's a slight cloudiness of the hair of the tri. That are coming out from those buds.
And we have a few cake of the Changtai Group that will come out. Actually, we have even cakes from the Changtai Tea Company or Tea House,
Before
before 2004.
Oh wow!
1 or 2, I'm not sure. I have to check. So over the months, there will be more Changtai.
More than 16 years old. Then.
And what I forgot saying is actually where does the tea come from? So the Changtai Tea Group comes originally from the EU region. So they have, especially those years, they were really centered there before becoming super famous and starting collecting tea also from elsewhere. So although I don't think, well, we cannot read, but I don't think is given on the label here. We will translate that. I haven't done it now. We will translate that and see if there is any information. But it's very, very likely that those leaves here come from the EU region. So from the east of Sichuan-Banna.
There's also like the texture. Sometimes you get the feeling, I mean, tea is obviously liquid, but sometimes you have the feeling while really tasting it that you almost want to chew it.
Viscose, really, really thick.
Yeah, or like that it almost is the experience of biting into, really like masticating on something that has more of a texture than this.
Do you also get a lot of saliva production, like when I swallow the tea, then I still feel the mouth really wet, watering.
I think that happens a lot. Like a tea like this, the level of astringency is sort of just on the border. There are some that really have enough astringency that they just make your mouth completely feel dry after. And then there's some with where that doesn't happen at all. And then these are kind of on the border. I would describe the ones where it's not at all as kind of juicy, that kind of soft feeling. And this one, there's like enough that it's sort of stimulating like more saliva production. Maybe that's why it feels like you're chewing and eating something.
Yeah, and there is a tiny bit of astringency. There is even a tiny bit of bitterness, but very little. We will see with future steep.
Yeah, not a lot. It also has a fairly clean taste, just like a little hint of bitterness, like one on the tongue, and then it leaves.
And we should have still some younger EU on the website.
At the moment, we have the 2019 would be the youngest, I think.
That we have, so that someone wants to do a comparison. Of course, EU is a large region, it's
there's kind of a lot of this doesn't, from my memory, this doesn't seem that much like the other
teas.
Yeah, I think this is the oldest one, so that it's probably kind of changed significantly in that time. But maybe there's a characteristic. There's some like vegetable note there. And it's that's good. Another one of these like games to put one's finger on exactly what that is.
Well, that is, yeah. And the Changtai Tea Group, I said, in 2004 became so famous, became much larger. It was the first tea company that was elevated to the group level. So it's like different levels of sizes of company in China.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly now the Chinese designation to it, but it was elevated to group. And it is the first tea company that was elevated to group. So at that time was as famous as the very, very big names like Dai, for example, or Xiaoguan, or the factory number 2, I think it is in Kunming. And then it didn't keep up. It didn't keep up with the trend of the other.
Ah, okay.
So now, of course, today's Dai is the most famous one, but at that time was not the case. So you see that here we've gone in a completely different direction with respect to other cakes. Other cakes that we tasted before, it is younger, pu'er, from a local production. So we had this specific producer, so single person, they go to single farmers and pick up, select the leaves. And we had and here we are going in the opposite direction. We are actually going for a very famous tea brand where the challenge is being able to find something authentic.
So they kind of so it's kind of like they become almost a conglomerate or something where they're, instead of a, I don't know what they call it, a mom and pop shop, a very small business there that's only sourcing local leaves. They start to get leaves from elsewhere and producing cakes, like in this case, not just Iwu pu'er.
Yes,
but
for sure. When the request grows, when the request grows, then of course you have they have to try to source tea elsewhere. It's like pretty sure that most of the tea continue to be from that area.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, also becoming so famous, you also want to offer more cakes, and you want to differentiate between the cakes, and then you go for different places of origin. Yeah.
But are they designated then as having a different terroir, or do they sort of slip in under the...
I don't think they really designated that much. It's there has been though situation where they have really taken a cake from a very specific region or from a very specific mountain, and then on the cake you have the designation. Okay. And we will have one example from the Changtai group that is like that, so from a very specific mountain, but it doesn't happen very often.
Okay.
For this size of company.
Okay, so getting the tea from this earlier stage, we have more of a certainty about what it represents, and later on there's a little more ambiguity when I describe a little bit more.
Yes,
I guess.
Yes, I would say so. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad we got this cake.
Yes, so am I. Yes. It's and I think so will our customers be who order it. It's very it's balanced. It's really nice.
Look,
some have this is it a bud or like a flower bud?
A flower bud.
Sometimes you get lucky, and it's a little like the bay leaf in or laurel leaf in European cuisine, when you get like a stew and you get the one you're like, it's good luck. A flower bud.
It seems so, a flower bud.
And that's always nice to see. Funniness.
And there is no smokiness. I would say it's no tobacco. It's fairly intense. It's fairly intense. Yeah, I wouldn't designate it as a bitter tea. I wouldn't designate it as say smoky tea. So it was a fairly clean production, it seems to me. I say the store very, very dry. It has some strength though.
To me, there's almost an edge of smokiness, but but more so woodiness. Actually, now it's coming out.
Yeah, woodiness
like
for sure.
Cedar note.
Yeah, cedar.
To me, that reminds me of the Feng Shan Chun Jian Yi Hao that we had
Yeah, it was a 2008 in the green wrap, right?
Yes. And it had a very, that's the way I remembered, a very present and distinct note of like cedar wood. And this has kind of that character too a little.
I had a bracelet.
Oh, yeah?
Made a Chinese bracelet made of cedar wood, and is extremely perfumed almost. Yeah, it's addictive. Like I was keep on smelling the bracelet all the time, and it keeps emitting that.
Really, even after you've had it.
I had it for a long. Every time I go to China, I was wearing it. Because I mean, here people would look at me all the time. It was really massive.
Would they look at you, or they just and then
just,
you know what is there something?
It really was massive with huge beads of wood all around, made of very very aromatic. So, but is woody for sure. But yeah, I wouldn't, at least I wouldn't designate it smoky, especially if you compare with the more classic smoky tobacco.
No, it's not I mean, it's definitely not. And compared to like a smoked or roasted tea, doesn't have that charcoal.
For me, honestly, having to pick up a statement how to designate the tea, I would go for lovers of intense Sheng, because it has that strength, and we are steeping it quickly. But if we would, wait a bit longer, you get the strength. But that's what for me pops out of this taste profile.
It's intense, but definitely not, as you said, not really bitter. And overall for a tea, it's fairly balanced. I think it doesn't. There are some pours that really kind of land in your mouth like I don't know, like a lead bomb, like.
They do.
And this one is really that's exactly what it makes one want to do.
Yeah, nice.
This is a tea for relaxation.
It's an after dinner tea for me.
Yes, it's a good digestif kind of.
Yeah. Dimitri, we should do maybe another video. Well, let's see if we have time to do that, but. Are the last days actually for me in Europe and in Berlin. After having lost all my documents, I finally connected the last one, the driving license. So in a few days I will head back to southern US.
This is a longer trip than you intended, no?
I was meant to be here for a week, and it has been 2 months.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, I think we have it. We could keep on drinking this for quite a while, and I think I will leave this here so that tomorrow is handing coming in. I think
so, yes,
for processing orders. But we are in the nannuoshan studio, if you haven't noticed.
Yes,
we have all these bags
surrounded by numbers.
That's cool. This is white tea plus some I go by the code. This is TEAWARE. We have shomei. Let's see if we remember those. This is you don't see, probably it's outside the camera. Up here we have a Xingren.
Right.
All this is Taiwan oolong plus
that's the
Yulanxiang and so on. So we have, and those are actually not are just larger quantities that we cannot stock on the shelves that you don't see that are on this side.
We did a video about our organization of our tea studio and how we keep everything.
So you can have a look at that to have an idea how this studio is actually organized. Yeah.
And to those numbers, we're going to add 642, although our code is 29293.
Yeah, 642 is still a while to go because it means we have to source other 250 teas because we numbered them one after the other. So anyway, Dimitri, I hope you have enjoyed. Yeah. And you guys, I hope you have enjoyed as well. I said, I would say for that type of age, a fairly affordable cake. It will be about 100 euros for the whole cake. It's 257 grams. We have enough so that we can make also samples out of it and probably 50 grams bags. So you don't have to buy the whole thing. And yeah, that's pretty much for today.
Yeah, this is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, cool. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe our channel and to give us a thumbs up if you have enjoyed watching the video. And Dimitri, if you have time, we will find out soon. We will do another video and well, let's say, do you have time?
I think I do.
Okay.
Let's drink another.
We'll do a Sheng Pu'er.
Oh, okay.
Let's go.